Hey, hello everybody. This is Tim from One for All Social again. Doug is here with me. We're going to kick off a weekly, maybe sometimes twice a week, or however often we kind of feel like, but at least once a week, video blog, all about sort of the status of social media, how the different platforms are doing. Maybe we'll get into demographic data a little bit, not today, but eventually. We certainly are going to get into everybody's favorite topic to hate, which is the algorithms. Different algorithms treat you differently. What works on one platform doesn't work on another. What works on one platform today may not work next week because the algorithm will change. So I don't know about you, Doug, but that's kind of one of the common questions I get is how do I defeat the algorithm? It's all evil.
Yeah, and as we're going to get into over time too, it's not just the algorithm per platform, but it's also your industry. But first, we'll attack the per social network side of it first. It's been changing on all of them for years, but we've found through some of the great work our wizarding officer here has done ways to actually approach that algorithm and to get your content seen. So you got to write good content first and foremost, and it does sometimes need to be platform specific, but more specifically, the way that content is phrased for the algorithm is algorithms on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. TikTok is what we're going to get into, and we're going to break those down into each individual platform so you can go and focus in on where you feel you want to grow your audience.
That's kind of an interesting breakpoint because us kind of show off our platform a little bit. But one of the things I wanted to bring up that I actually have really dug into hardcore in the last couple of weeks is what is getting upgraded by the platforms, what's getting downgraded. And one of the things I've noticed across all platforms, with the possible exception of Twitter or X, and even they're heading that way, is they're all seeming to look at posts for negative content versus positive content. And what I mean by that is if you're just coming in and ripping apart and saying, oh, this is all bad, it's all evil, and nobody should ever look at anything, all that's getting downgraded. Political discussions getting downgraded, news discussions that are going to lead to fights because we're arguing over Palestine, Israel. I don't want to get into that, but that's all getting downgraded because it's all very negative. They are looking at whether a message is negative or positive. So we ran a bunch of experiments. They said, let's talk about the same subject, but let's talk about it in a negative content and a positive content kind of post. Very different ways of crafting the message, but the positive content posts always get somewhere between 10 and 100 times more views, and they're always getting better timeline placement because those views come very quickly. So it's not like it takes over time for it to get rolling. No, it's like positive content pops, negative content, there's people that look for it, and there's people that like it, and there's people that show it to each other, but it doesn't find a new audience. It's kind of like an echo chamber of just kind of shouting with people that you agree with, about how
Like
bad
the old,
something is.
it's like the old muting on Facebook. I'm sure that's part of it for Facebook. Is you can you're tired of hearing somebody's repeated post because maybe they offend you or maybe they're negative. Mute, mute, mute. That's permeating through all the other social networks, right? But it's through the algorithm now that's picking up that content as being negative or slanted in a non-positive fashion.
And, and I think it took me a while to hit me. I was like, why are they doing this? I mean, because certainly there's an audience for the negative, but it hit me. If I'm looking at negative content on a platform, I'm more than likely going to flip and turn off and go somewhere else because I just don't want to pay attention to it. And these platforms really want to see you have a more extended period of time on it, like anybody would, whether it's ABC, CBS, NBC. It's how long are you on? And if I'm out in the first 2 minutes because all I see is negative crap, it's just par for the course. The platforms are going to respond and shift their algorithms to what people want to see, and that's all they're doing is trying to craft it to what people want to see. So we're going to look at our platform in a second, but one thing I wanted to tell everybody is one thing I have noticed, especially with Instagram specifically, is that if you want to get a message seen by your followers, one of the things that you really want to focus on is using imagery, because your images on Instagram are almost always seen by your followers extensively and almost never seen by anybody new, even if you use the right hashtags. It's sort of 80-20 or 90-10. So 90% of a still image is going to be seen only by your followers, and maybe 10 to 20 will be seen by new people. But if you go to Reels and do a short video, it's completely opposite. It's sort of 2/3 new people, not followers, and 1/3 people. So that's one of those platforms that if you want to grow, you really have to focus in on that short form video format, because that's how you're going to get those new eyeballs and pull them in. But if you're doing any kind of messaging or any kind of marketing on a specific topic area or trying to do any kind of sales, Yeah, those videos are what gets you the audience, and those still images are what kind of keeps people really interested and informed. So that platform in particular, if you want growth, it has to be on video. And if you want to maintain your audience, you certainly want to keep the images.
Right. And wouldn't you say some of that same content, and I know you're focused on Instagram, but wouldn't you say some of that same content could spill over into YouTube and to TikTok, that short form video content?
Especially TikTok. It is all about short form video. And one thing I have noticed on TikTok, it is very downgrading to negative content. If you're negative at all and not upbeat and happy, it is not going to get you seen. Whole heart. It's vicious. The other interesting thing about TikTok is that you can very quickly and easily get seen by a whole lot more people than are actually following you. So if you want to get a message out, it is easy to do on TikTok. But if you go past 2 minutes, nobody's going to watch your video, right? So that audience really likes a minute and down, which is tough to craft. It's really kind of hard to get there, because that 1 minute and down video is just a challenge. It's certainly not easy for me to stick with anything under a minute.
Fortunately, to be concise.
Yeah, it's nice if I can do it, right? But anyway, so let's take a quick look at the platform, at least our system. So this is one for all. When you log in, you get a variety of options over here, and everything you have is on mobile as well as desktop. But one of the things, our analytics section, which comes with every level of service now, gives you this insight section. It gives you an overview, it tells you how you're doing. It lets you look at individual posts. It lets you look at your audience and get some demographic data on your audience. And this is the live version of my Instagram. Is, what are the age ranges, how many people fall in each category, where in the world do they come from, that kind of thing. But more specifically, it gives you this insight section. And what insights does is it's specific to your account, not a general Instagram suggestion, not a, hey, other people have used this, go try to do this. This is really specific to your account, and says the best day for you to post is Wednesday. The best type of post is an image, and the best frequency is 3 times a day. And what it's doing is telling you where the algorithm is going to give you the best placement based on history of your account and similar accounts. So it's going out and really kind of digging into that nitty gritty and saying, if you want great timeline placement, you've got one message you really want to have seen, that's the best way for you to do it. And Wednesday is my best day, and image, because apparently when I do videos, nobody likes them. So it's okay. I'm happy with that. But one of the other things that I want to show off today, and then we can kind of take our introductory video and say, hey, next time we're going to get into a lot more detail, is one of the things our system does that I don't think anybody else on the market does, at least I've never seen anybody, is we have this auto hashtag feature, which I'll show here in a second, but we also integrated ChatGPT. So with the holidays coming up, let's go and craft a Twitter post. Tell me why Cabernet is the best wine for Thanksgiving dinner. And I want to do it in a humorous and funny voice. So our system directly links into ChatGPT, comes back with a couple of posts. You can go through and read them and edit them. Click the button, it kind of pops up right over here. Next thing you do is ChatGPT did try to include a hashtag. It did that. Our system does things a little bit differently. Our proprietary AI system will go through and read your post and say, hey, look, what all should I use as a hashtag to get the best response out of this post, but not based on how many other people are using that hashtag, based on how many people are viewing that hashtag. So you'll see that here's a variety of them. The longer that bar, the better off you are. Click the ones you want, add them to the post, bam, it throws them over there. Now send that out, and your post will be on the platform in a couple of seconds. But those hashtags are really what helps drive that audience and helps that algorithm decide what other accounts really want to see your stuff. Those hashtags are not just for people searching things. The hashtag actually tells the algorithm what it is you're talking about and helps find timeline placement on people that might use similar words. And our algorithm is actually smart enough that even if it figures out what you're talking about and it doesn't see the word in your post, it'll actually come up with hashtags that aren't necessarily words in your post. Like one day I was talking about youth sports and football and baseball in particular. And I didn't have the word sports in there. I just said, hey, my kids happen to like football and baseball, and they're really good at playing baseball, but they're not as good at football, or something along those lines. And the algorithm went through and read it and said, hey, hashtag youth sports. I had the word kids. I had a couple of different sports in there, but youth sports got me much better timeline placement than football or baseball would have alone, because youth sports kind of are what a lot of, at least parents, go off and look for. So over time, what we want to do with this video blog is help people understand how to get the best timeline placement, not just on an account in general, but specific to each platform and specific to industries that use each platform. So whether you're a nonprofit, a church, a creator, a author, whatever, we're going to try to dig into those details for you and help you how to work with that algorithm to get the best placement for it, and how to increase the size of your engaged audience. So, Doug, did I miss anything there?
No, that's it. That's it. And and again, we're talking about our platform, but we're also just talking in general. Part of the goal of this weekly, bi-weekly vlog, whatever you want to call it, is to basically help with each individual platform. So it's gonna be twofold: how you really penetrate and grow your audience and get engagement on each platform into specifically, and then how you use our tool to basically save yourself some time and headache and worry, and get that done faster, so you can still go out and live a life. So I'm excited, Kim. I'm pumped to get the series rolling.
All right. Well, next week we're gonna really dive into, and maybe later this week, we'll really dive into TikTok and its algorithm, because its algorithm is unique amongst the rest of them. There's a lot of similarities, especially Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, which we haven't covered, and even Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and somewhat on Twitter or X. But TikTok is unique, and TikTok is very specific. So I think if we can dive into that one first, it might be most interesting, because it's also the one that has really the most explosive growth going on as eyeballs, as far as new users go. So we'll demystify that algorithm for everybody, and hopefully do it in a fun and exciting way. So see everybody again soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody.